Hi, you might be wondering where I have been. Hey, I do these kinds of content to spend time, so why not? I thought about a question that stalked my mind for a while, all the way since I started. Who is the worst hero in Marvel Rivals? It might seem a rhetorical question. It's Black Widow. Do you know why? Well,
And point proven right now. Do you understand?
How do you not
if I told you there is a worse hero than her? If you try to decide this by looking at the pick rates and the chart for the most and least picked heroes, you may notice that Black Widow isn't even the least picked hero. If you look at the chart for the most used heroes in Marvel Rivals, Black Widow isn't even in the last place. I was bored, and I am currently searching for a job because the studies aren't going well, and so I'm playing Marvel Rivals more than I do regularly. Which made me wonder, seeing all the content, people like Kingsman or people like Jag who did it on Spider-Man, Liu Rivals, I wanted to try and challenge myself on making this kind of content too. And I have already got Lord Widow, so Torch it is, I guess. Even if I already used him a little, I am level 5 right now, because I used him sometimes in 18 vs 18 battles before switching back to Iron Man because I don't know him at all. And that's why I'm making this video. That he's the single least picked hero in the game. I know he doesn't have a team up, or genuinely sucks because he was nerfed into the ground because they didn't know how to balance him. So I wanted to try and learn him because I'm not that good with flyers if we don't count Ultron. So after this long dead ass intro, I am going to start with the content. So that is how I hit Lord with the most forgotten hero in the game. So I started loading up the first game with Torch, and you can see this doesn't seem my really first game on Torch. I have movement, I know a bit of movement, I know a bit of what I should do. And the single solution to this answer is that I used him a little in 18 vs 18 before switching to Iron Man because he was genuinely unplayable. I know his movement because I tend to select him to roam around like the training mode. Basically, I know the basis of Torch. I'm going to show you some clips of my first game and in general clips of my games. Just expect not that much from me. Counting that my first game was a W, I don't think it can strengthen my case, but back in Season 6, this was probably one of the worst heroes in the whole roster. And at the same time, I was playing him very wrong. You may notice in the second game I play him really far when it comes to the enemies I want to target. And I also find out that lots of heroes can counter me. I tend to misplace my cooldowns, to really fumble with them, so and to miss a lot of shots. So it's not a surprise when in this game I went pretty bad. And honestly, I kinda expected that. I noticed I struggle a lot against hit scan heroes like Adam Warlock and in general with Poke. But I also understand that rewatching these replays, I played him very high in the sky, apart when I ulted, but even if I managed to get a nice double kill, this game we lost, and I misplaced a ult. This will be a very recurring tendency when it comes to winning and losing, because I have a very even win rate, lose rate of Torch. And also when it comes to maps, apart from the Krakoa payload maps, every domination maps, but the more closed ones, kinda struggle. It doesn't have that freedom of movement. So I kinda wasted an ult, but got it back. It comes value, because I got a kill and then I got another one. At the same time, I keep playing him very high, so I got MVP, but at the same time I feel like I didn't earn it. I managed to get some experience and almost level 6, but the next game went pretty bad, because they had a Spider-Man. And I really struggle against Spider-Man, especially a good Spider-Man, but they also had Star-Lord and Luna Snow, who fried me continuously. So yeah, you can pretty much guess how this game went, and played him very far from my target. When I got near them though, everything kinda changed, but I didn't know probably level 8, so it will be a recurrence that I kinda play him too high and too distant from my targets, because I didn't understand Pele Spray. Okay, maybe I just need extra motivation, so... I asked people on Reddit for tips, and basically what I found is that I have to play closer to the enemy, manage better my cooldowns, and try not to basically playing him like a flyer but more as a diver. That I was very more precise. I felt more accurate with my shots, even if I still miss, and a lot, you may notice by these clips. I noticed I struggle a lot against heroes like Storm, for example. For example, this match was a loss, and heroes like Spider-Man kinda destroyed me, but I also hit a good ult where I made a double kill. I also noticed that I really struggle against Jeff. This puts me in a situation where I have to manage my cooldowns better, especially when it comes to the Meteor. The games were going smooth, even if I lost a lot of them. I felt like I was getting better and better by the minute. I found out characters like Scarlet Witch kinda counter me, and even if I still struggle to pop my ult in a decent way and get value, that I really struggle in domination maps. The best maps where I can play Torch better are the defense maps, especially the one in Krakoa. Also, his primary fire has a very tight spray. I wasn't that really satisfied with myself. There comes my best game with Torch before going captain. This game had massive vibes because we were playing the Fantastic Four team up even without the team up. I had The Thing who was really vibing with me. We used the team up in a very stupid way, especially against this rogue. And we also started memeing on chat, like with the Say the Thing ban, clobbering time, all of that. And at the same time, we won. We really steamrolled. This game was the best I played before getting to captain. Like, there's not even a debate. And also, I wanted to head off something. I didn't know that his meteors dealt more damage when it was closer to the enemy. Time playing him closer felt like I was playing him better, but at the same time I was putting myself even more at risk. I still really struggle to pop the ult in a very good way. You may notice, for example, I popped it right in front of Luna Snow without even hitting her. Didn't get enough value. As you may have guessed, we lost. The next game went a little odd. I feel like I really was bad, but at the same time I hit one of the best clips of my Torch career, doing this a quad that was almost a penta. And the funny thing is, even with that we lost, but I managed to go to level 8. So my games were going really good. I was learning the character, and also I was feeling like I was playing better with him. Not only that, I found out that this guy has an insane carry potential, and my mechanics were getting very better. Even if I still suffered some heroes. I managed to win some games, and overall I was very satisfied with the progresses I made, even if this character wasn't really that great. Playing him made me see why this character is so unplayed. Cooldowns are too high, his mobility is too low, and he's too vulnerable. Not only that, he was nerfed into oblivion because the devs didn't know how to balance him. They nerfed his damage and kit to the ground because they didn't know how to patch the melee tech. Games went by and my levels were growing, and a lot. I was managing my ult better, and I noticed that his ult is one of the best in the game when it comes to turning matches around. If I had to choose the heroes that I struggled against the most, the top wouldn't even be probably Spider-Man, but would probably be Scarlet Witch. Granted that I'm not talking about the champion level Spider-Man, I'm talking about average Spider-Man versus average Torch. I think that it's a bit manageable, while with Scarlet Witch you have to be very lucky. With Storm it's the same thing. And the same can be applied towards all the pokers like Hela, Hawkeye or Phoenix. So my levels were getting very high. I also love this skin. This is one probably of my favorite maps since I can really play in the air, at least in the second phase of the map. Even if when it comes to some plays I really struggle against some comps in this map. While in the Show Lao map I really struggle. I don't know why. Not in the first phase, rather than in the second when you have to play very sneaky in corners because there are a lots of walls and bridges and all of that. So this Spider-Man was so strong I had to switch off to Namor. But finally I managed to hit level 10 and got a nice double in the meantime. Now it took me circa 9 to 10 hours if I remember correctly. Also this was a nice ult aside from the Iron Man, but at the same time I noticed that I was getting lots of improvements, and also I did a triple kill in this game. That's really nice. But I was starting to get better and to align my shots better, even if I still miss a lot. I'm managing my cooldown even better, and I fail less and less, especially if I'm already warmed up. But this applies also to when I'm just starting the game, so I guess it's a nice improvement. I notice how much value I used to get with ults and how I get it now, and it's a completely different story. I get very more value when it comes to ulting, especially when the other team has not popped a strategist ult. This was a nice triple kill. It's like sometimes I find players who don't know how to counter him, and other times I found players who hard counter him. But like I'm not talking about heroes specifically, I'm talking about players. So it's nice, I guess. But yeah, this character has a very high carry potential and also skill ceiling. It's very hard to master. I was starting to get the timing right for the meteors, even if right now I still miss them a lot. And there are matches like this one where I completely do good plays with ultimates, and other games where I completely waste them. I guess it's a canon thing for Torch players and Torch learners. Also, it may seem really bad, but this character has no mobility whatsoever. I mean, sure he flies, but he's very slow, and there were people and comp who completely fried me. For example, they had a Star-Lord in this game, they had a Storm, so my time wasn't that great. And in the other one I noticed something else, that when it comes to attack I really tend to play in the start really close to my spawn, because I don't want to be killed in a way, and I can't always peel for my healers since I'm low health and really exposed because I'm a flyer. But even when it comes to losing games and matches, sometimes I really feel like I'm doing great. And to really panic when I see some things like this. Even if by playing in corners you can counter him with this tech and this combo, it's just very hard to initiate as a combo. If you arrived at this part of the video, you may have wondered, but wait, why your ammo recharged so slowly? Well, because I recorded mostly of this video in season 6.5, at the end of season 6.5, and I was trying to get Lord before season 7 dropped, but I couldn't. So it happened that I managed to showcase the buffs before going in the first match of the day. But long story short, in this game I played that I showed you, I noticed lots of improvements, even when it comes to positioning, who I think is the most important thing when it comes to Torch, aside from basically managing your cooldowns. So this was Torch before season 7. I got some clips, I got some good games, good plays, and honestly, if I remember correctly, also some MVPs. But then something incredible happened. Something so marvelous I couldn't believe it.
the new changes in Season 6.5. And let me say, these changes were incredible. We went from this to this, and it's so satisfying and also so useful. I felt like I was getting better game by game, and here's a comparison between the two ammo recharge. You can tell it's very, very better. Still felt like I was getting smoked by both hitscan and some flyers like Storm, but also by some heroes like Spider-Man or Luna Snow, which I think it's more a skill issue from me than from the character itself. I learned that when it comes to heroes like Spider-Man, Angela, and all of them, like Hela, I just have to play close to my healers. When it comes to Luna, I just have to like blast dive combo and she's night. And if only my skills at learning characters and have patience on that was as good as my luck in finding jobs, I will probably still be level 1. So yeah, I also found out that there are some maps where I feel like I am better at playing him, and also the new Lower Manhattan maps, which I don't have that many clips on. Now my games were starting to look the same, so I don't have that many clips of my game. I'm just going to post some of them with some plays, because at the same time my video will be very redundant. So I'm just going to roll through the fundamentals things. My aim is still very off. At the same time, I sometimes struggle. When I die once, I really tend to die lots of time again by not adjusting my mistakes, but at the same time I'm starting to get very aware of the carry potential this hero has, and I'm so excited to what they are going to do to him in Season 6.5. Of course, there are still some maps where I really struggle a lot, like this one with closed walls and all of that. I also tend to ult based on how I feel like it. If I feel like ulting, I ult, and that's sometimes a good thing or a bad thing. The biggest thing I learned from playing Human Torch is that cooldown managing is the vital point of the character. You have to manage your cooldowns, you have to be really able to not only land your shots, but it's not only a question it's not really a question on how you should land your shots and playing your abilities, but it's more a matter of when to do it rather than a how to. I also found out that despite the feelings I thought I'd had, Namor is actually not that big of a problem when it comes to Human Torch. I thought that he would have fried me. I thought that I would get fried every single second I find Namor, but it's more because of the turrets. Since I play Namor, I tend to focus flyers a lot. My main problems are still that I still tend to misplace my blast to form the cages and the walls. I still need to adjust and figure out, for example, his range. He has a very good range, but at times it always feels like he has a shorter range, and at times it feels like he has a longer range than I intended. Finally reached level 15, so I had to have high hopes for Season 7.5. And then I saw the change. It was a very odd and mixed decision, because I think the change wasn't entirely bad, but the cooldowns were so high that this character became unplayable again. Sure, they buffed the values of the dash, the fact that it could travel longer, the fact that you could shoot while in plasma, etc, but the change to the dash was very, very controversial. And yet, believe it or not, with that, maybe it's because I also play Ultron, I think that my gameplay as Torch became way, way better. I'm not joking, this change was actually a buff to me while a nerf to Torch, because it lowered the skill expression, and even a strategist player like me could adapt faster. And the thing is, I really found it hard to adapt at first. So from Season 6.5 and Season 7, I played him, but in Season 7.5 I really didn't touch him at all. So you really won't find any clips from season 7.5. Not because he was unplayable, he wasn't. But because that rework made me feel like I spent time learning a new character that I'm not familiar with at all, and then I had to learn it again. Really? Not only that, but I also had to learn him in a nerfed way. Looking at this in season 8.5, almost season 9, I think the changes weren't bad at all. But they were very hard to adapt because I started playing with a playstyle and ended up playing with another one. So which progresses did I make from the transition from level 15 to level 20? So from Centurion to Lord. I play him more by instinct, trying to manage my cooldown better. I waste my meteor less and less. I also know how and where to pop my ult better, but I still find it hard to basically form the cages and get target priority, because I used to prioritize tanks. I still prioritize tanks, but at the same time, since my get out of jail card is still a little bit underwhelming even after the buffs in season 8 and 8.5, I try to play him safer but still playing him aggressively like I always do with every hero. Yes, even Cloak and Dagger. And then it happened. I finally hit Lord. So what are my thoughts about this video? I think that as of season 8.5, Human Torch is actually okay. Like, he's not F tier anymore. He's not strong. He's balanced. Even if I'd change 3 things about his kit. The first is that I think that the dash is still too high on cooldown. The second is that I think the meteor is still too high on cooldowns. And the third is that the pellet spray is still a bit too buggy, a bit too high. I'd shrink it even more. The thing I like and I also dislike about Human Torch is that it's a very hard character to mold to your playstyle. Like, you have to at times adapt to the character's playstyle and not use the character with your playstyle. For example, my main role is the strategist that I play in a very aggressive way. I don't focus on ill-botting, I focus on making plays, taking space, keeping the team alive, but most of the time I try to take picks, I try to make plays, I try to dictate the tempo. So if I start with those premises, it's very hard to mold an aggressive with the team playstyle, in contrast to a flyer that constantly needs to dive, constantly needs to enter the fight, take picks and get away, that has a very good ult that can make you take picks, but at the same time can be countered easily, while support ults are very strong. With Torch is the same thing. I found it easier and easier to adapt my playstyle to Human Torch instead of adapting Human Torch to my playstyle at first. Then I started adapting Human Torch to my playstyle, so I started trying to play close to the team, started trying to play him more on the ground like I was playing Ultron, and focus on tanks, focus on trying to take space, focus on trying to make plays and take picks, and also get value with my ult. Overall, it's a very hard character to master, and I'm glad I still didn't master it, but at the same time I'm glad I kinda learned him a little bit. The video is done, and the next character I will try to Lord, I don't know, I guess we'll wait and see. Goodbye.